All right, we're back again with another episode of Roofer Reflections. I'm really excited to have Kyle here. Kyle, thank you for coming on the show.
Appreciate it, Tats. I'm glad to be here. Thank you
Awesome,
for having
great.
me.
I love your background.
Thank you.
All these years into recruiting, now you're doing recruiting in and around roofing, and it looks like you're doing a bit more than just
I am.
recruiting. Is that the case?
That is the case. I spent almost 30 years in corporate America in IT recruitment. And the later in my journey, I specialized in cybersecurity recruitment and recruited for companies all over the US. And it was a lot of fun, and I met a lot of interesting people, and I had a lot of good stories. But I had moved to another company, was downsized, and it's interesting. I had met a couple people in my recruiting career that in 2015 left the IT staffing world and started a roofing company. And I had moved back to Atlanta, Georgia, where I reside today, and from Denver, Colorado, and bought an older home that had an older roof. So I called my buddies and said, hey, I want you to come out and provide a roof inspection for me. And ever since I came back, they were like, Kyle, you need to get out of recruiting. You'll love roofing. You would do really well in this, and you can help us grow our company by helping us recruit people. And you can, I think you do really good at roofing sales. So when I was downsized in my career, I made one call to, my friend Ward Metcalf, and basically it started from there. And my only regret is not getting into roofing sooner. It's a really neat industry.
Yeah. What do you find neat about it?
Well, it's just I get to control my entire day. In corporate America, I worked in a 3x3 cubicle for 30 years. Recruitment is all metrics, all KPI, heavy metrics driven environment. And so I was working 55, 60 hours a week for most of my career. And in roofing, basically, it's what I make of my day. I always start with three goals. What do I want to accomplish today in my roofing sales? Whether it's a follow-up, whether it's going and knocking in a new neighborhood, whether it's, going and stopping by 5 or 6 different insurance agencies to get my name in there or whatever it is. But I have a lot more flexibility and my day is very fluid, and it's not just tied to KPIs and metrics. In roofing, as you know, Tats, I own the customer experience from the first initial contact, everything in between all the way through warranties. And so that, account management feel with the true business development, I'm out hunting every single day, is really exciting. And plus, I get to do what I'm passionate about as well, which is recruiting at my company. Responsible for the recruiting, the onboarding. I do sales training. Here at Roofing Done Right, we're part of RSRA, the Roofing Solar Reform Alliance with Adam Bensman. And we have access to all of his training material. And so basically I've taken that material and I created basically a 12-week boot camp for all of our new starters and put them through the paces to help them. And we do role playing. I assign one of Adam's videos. They watch it, we come in, we discuss it, and then we role play it and put it into action right then and there. I also do our systems training as well. So for all of our technology. So it really keeps me busy and it keeps it kind of fluid. I typically book in my weeks with recruiting. So I do recruiting on Mondays and Fridays, and then, I sell Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
When you were, metrics driven recruiting stuff, what did your day look like before? Like, were you just banging the phone all the time?
All the time. Yeah. So, in recruitment, it's prior planning. So, you have an assigned job, a couple jobs that you're working on. You're going to pre-plan today for tomorrow, and then you come in and execute that plan. But I was always taught in recruitment, always work closest to money. So that doesn't mean I have to stick to that plan if something closer to money comes into my view, right? So being able to move and be flexible and work closest to money, like that's how you become, a top recruiter. And at Hayes, I won all kinds of awards, and it was, really neat to be in the top 5 of 150, 160 recruiters. And that takes planning and dedication and working closest to money.
Give me an example of what you mean by working closer to money.
Let's say one of my contractors that I have out on assignment working at another company on contract for us gets an extension for another 6 months. Well, I'm going to stop everything else I'm doing and I'm going to call that consultant and say, hey, congratulations, your contract has been extended another 6 months. How do you feel about that? Send them the paperwork, get the paperwork signed up. And that is what I mean working closest to money. Or if another opportunity comes in that is really hot and I have interviewed what we call in staffing package candidates ready to go. So when I've interviewed, I know what they're looking for, their requirements. If a new job comes in, that's working closest to money as well, matching those people to the job that I already know and putting them on the job and then going back to my plan, right? So it's always judging where you're at in the day. And as a recruiter in staffing, I was making 75 to 100 outbound calls a day. And for me, going into a neighborhood and knocking 20 to 25 doors is a breath of fresh air, no pun intended.
What sort of tips do you have for people that, hear you talking about this and are considerate? What sort of things should they do to set themselves up for success in roofing?
Well, you've got to be open to meeting new people and networking. It's a game of networking in roofing. And, once I acquire a customer in a neighborhood, it's my job to inform all of those customers around that build process. And it's a non-threatening way to meet new people and answer questions for them. And that's what we do is we diagnose like a doctor. Can I help you? Right? Without prescribing like, hey, you need a roof today. It's getting to know them. It's just analyzing it. But where I've had a lot of success in knocking is once I've acquired a customer in a neighborhood, and then I go out and leave build notices. And then I'll come back through and say, hey, I left you a letter the other day. What questions do you have? And for me, it's going back to the same customers, right? And that's why I want to work pretty close to home. Will I drive an hour and a half for a good inspection? Yes, if I qualify it and it's a good use of my time. But I want to work close to home because I want to be in that neighborhood every 2 to 3 weeks, knocking on the same doors until they're ready. And it's that becoming a familiar face to those homeowners is one of the ways that I've been successful. Because I think oftentimes a lot of roofers that I've interviewed, they'll go knock a neighborhood and then they never go back. And so the key is follow-up. And it was the same in recruitment as well. I would call the same person over and over and over and over. And it's so interesting. One of my favorite stories is, they would call me back 7 months later and say, hey, Kyle, it's so-and-so. I got all your voicemails. Thank you so much for calling. Now I need your help. And it's the same thing. It's that follow-up and being familiar.
You've done specific things. You brought that into the roofing world. You've developed new skills or expanded them. Right? And I'm in a closed networking group called BNI, Business Networking International. And this is my 3rd year in BNI. And it's a closed networking group where I'm the roofer for my group. And I've built really strong foundational relationships with the members in that group. And I was elected to be vice president this year. So I'm over basically all of the chapter operations and reporting, and which is very much in my wheelhouse coming from, recruitment. It was all metrics driven, right? And so, I think, BNI has really helped me grow my roofing business. I always tell folks when I interview them, when they're coming out of corporate America, that, building a strong B2B referral network, the job gets a whole lot easier when you wake up every day and you have 2 inspections, right? And think like from, property managers or, home inspectors, realtors, insurance agents, brokers. All of these folks are potential referral partners for you. And, I can't tell you how many inspections I've done where, I'm helping an insurance agent because their homeowner received a letter saying, hey, you have 45 days to build your new roof or we're going to cancel your policy. And I've helped so many homeowners overturn that letter that they've received
from their insurance company by saying, no, this roof can't be over 10 years old. It has ridge vents, it has drip edge, it has all the code items installed. It's, yes, it has a little blistering, but this is a 25 to 30 year architectural roof, and it's got 15 years left on it. So I've helped a lot of homeowners like that.
Yeah.
Through my B2B referral network.
The great thing, I think, Kyle, what you prove, and just hearing the excitement in your voice is, you can join the roofing industry whenever you want, right?
Yes.
Like there's no bias. You don't have to be young. You can be at any age, any part of your career, and it can make sense.
Absolutely. And I'm one of the oldest reps that we have at my company, and I'm very successful. And I'm not pushy, I'm not salesy. I educate and I drive it that way. And I think so many roofing companies out there, they're all mic'd up as soon as they go into the homeowner's home, and it can't leave without the clothes, and it's pushy, and it's what I mean, and I don't sell like that, right? And it's a very educational. Yes, I follow up, but I'm not there to twist anybody's arm behind their back. And my company is very unique in the roofing industry. Unfortunately, there's a lot of characters in the roofing industry, and they do vandalism to make it look like there's more damage to the roof than what there is. They, start their sales pitch by, hey, if you sign with me today, I'll buy your deductible, which is a class 3 felony. And I don't do any of that. And I always say to homeowners, where do you think that money comes from? It comes from the products that they're putting on your roof. And as you know, Tats, it's what's under the shingles that truly matters the most in roofing. For anyone out there that's sitting in a cubicle thinking, is there something else out there? I would highly encourage you all to look into the roofing sales industry. There's flexibility, it's good money, and you're helping people. And if you like to help people, this is a great industry for you to look at.